design procedure of a compression member. See, before designing the compression member, we need to know the procedure to design the compression member, step by step procedure. First, like in any other member, you have to select section. So for selecting a section, you need to assume what is the design compressive stress FCD. If you know the design compressive stress, then you can able to calculate the effective sectional area AE. Load, which is equal to area into design compressive stress. And if you know FCD from our assumed value and whatever the given factored load, so the area required to withstand this factored load is AE. So if you know factored load and assumed design compressive stress, you could able to find the area required to withstand the applied factored axial compressive load. Once area has been calculated from this equation, you need to select a section from steel tables or any relevant Indian standard code. So the question is this the only way to select the section? Do I need to find the area by assuming FCD and selecting a section? No. You can even select randomly any section and you need to check its strength. PD and design compressive stress FCD and slenderness ratio lambda as well. So if it satisfies all the value, all the criteria, then your selected section is okay. But it takes time. If you select a section by trial and error method, it takes time to come to some conclusion or selection of a section. So the best is assume FCD, calculate area, then select a section which has area of this much to resist whatever the applied factor load. So even by this way, after selection, we have to perform all these checks. When you are assuming a design compressive stress FCD, we'll have some thumb rule. For angle strut, we'll assume FCD in the range of 90 megapascal. See, it is not hard and fast rule. In this range, we can assume. For a rolled section, FCD can be assumed as 135 megapascal. For heavy sections like built-up section, channel connected back to back, or I section, built-up I section, or even I section with top and bottom plate as a whole is also a built-up section. For this kind of heavy sections, design compressive stress FCD can be assumed in the range of 160 to 200 megapascal. Again, this is not the strict number. This is a thumb rule. You can assume the design compressive stress in this range. Once the section is selected from steel table, we need to note down all the properties. What is its area? What is the moment of inertia about XX and moment of inertia about YY? Then which one is the least or minimum moment of inertia? Then minimum radius of gyration. All the data required from the steel table. Okay, the final step is to check the selected section. So what to check? First, we need to calculate the effective length by knowing the end condition of column. So whether the column end condition are pinned or one end is fixed, other end is pinned, or one end is fixed, other end is free, depends on various end conditions. We can able to calculate the effective length. And also suppose if the compression member is a strut, so you need to know the end conditions as well. If it is a strut, then what is the effective length? Once you can able to calculate the effective length, then you can able to determine the slenderness ratio lambda, because slenderness ratio lambda, which is effective length upon minimum radius of gyration. So whenever we calculate slenderness ratio for a compression member, you need to check whether the slenderness ratio of a selected member for a selected length and end condition of column, it has to be less than or equal to maximum permissible slenderness ratio. If it's not, then you need to revise the section. See, before calculating what is the design compressive stress and what is the strength of the compression member, first we need to check its slenderness ratio. If the slenderness ratio is greater than the maximum permissible limit, then we have to revise the section. For example, if the slenderness ratio in the end for the selected section comes out to be 200, if the column is subjected to dead load and imposed load, in that situation the slenderness ratio should not exceed 180 for the compression member subjected to dead load and imposed load. But it's not here, so no, it has exceeded the maximum permissible slenderness ratio, so we need to revise this section. Okay, how to revise? We have two to decrease the slenderness ratio. One is the effective length, second is radius of gyration R. And if you want to decrease the slenderness ratio, we have to decrease the effective length, or you can increase the radius of gyration. How to increase the radius of gyration? You need to go for a heavier section. Simple. Then how to decrease the effective length? See, effective length, you can't argue with the architect to decrease the height of the story. If architect has designed for 3-meter height of a building, for that building if you are designing a steel column, and since it has not satisfied the slenderness ratio, you can't ask architect to decrease the overall height of the story or height of the floor. So instead, what we can do is either you can increase the radius of gyration of a section by selecting the heavier section, or you can change the end condition of column. Suppose initially if the column is pinned, so if the column is pinned, then effective length, which is equal to total length. So if this is the total length. Suppose instead of pinned, if you change it into fixed, one end, at least one end fixed and other end pinned. If you change the condition, end condition of column like this, then effective length is 0.8 times the total length. So that means now in the end you have decreased the effective length. You have decreased the effective length. So the slenderness ratio comes down. So there are so many ways to make this slenderness ratio within the permissible limit. Okay, once if this slenderness ratio is within the permissible limit, then you need to calculate the design compressive stress FCD by referring table 9. So again there are 4 tables in 9, 9A, 9B, 9C and 9D. Now you have to first determine the buckling class of the given section. Once you know the buckling class, then you can decide which table among the 4 should be used to calculate what is the design compressive stress FCD. Once you know the design compressive stress, then you calculate axial compressive strength of the given or selected section. So this is the PD calculated strength of the section. It has to be greater than or at least equal to the factor load, applied factor load. If it is so, then your selected section, whatever the section you have selected from steel table to withstand the applied load, is safe. Now, if you look at the picture, we have a column in this building, and also we have a strut in the bridge, and also you will get a strut in the roof truss. So whether you are designing a strut or the column, we have to follow the discussed procedure. First, you need to assume the design compressive stress FCD based on the section which we are going to select. Now, normally for a strut, we'll go for angle and small strut. FCD can be assumed around 90 to 100 megapascal. For a little rolled section, heavier channel or angle section, then we can assume design compressive stress in the range of 135 Newton upon mm square. If we are going for a heavy section, then we can go for 160 to 200 design compressive stress. Once the stress is assumed, you need to calculate what is the area required to withstand the factor load. So here is the factor load to withstand the factor load. So once you know the area, then from steel tables, select the section. So here it could be a built-up section, or it could be a single I section or channel section connected back to back, or a single angle section for this strut. It could be any. Make sure that the selected section has area which is little greater than the required area. So you have selected a section, that's the design, but you have just selected a section by assuming design compressive stress. You need to make sure, or you need to check whether the selected section has the enough strength to take care of this factor load. So to check it, you need to calculate what is slenderness ratio, and you have to calculate design compressive stress and the design axial strength of the selected section. So this has to be greater than or equal to factor load, applied factor load. If it is so, then the selected section is safe to withstand the applied factor load. That's the design procedure of a simple compression member. Thank you.